Welcome back, friends, with more My Hero Academia. This is Season 6, Episode 18. Last week, we had way more backstory with the Todoroki family, really dug into Endeavor's past abuse and what led Toya down the path to Dabi. Really sad and heartbreaking to watch. And then we're about to have a conversation about One for All. It's going to all come out into the open, or for the top heroes at least. Deku is still communing with the Vestiges while he's unconscious. We're going to learn a lot more about that. But before we get started, I'm thinking of switching to the subtitled version after this episode because I'm chomping at the teeth to watch more sooner. I mostly started this season with the dub because I was busy when the season started in Japan. So I'll see what I want to do this upcoming week. But yeah, full reaction is going to be on Patreon in the link in the description below. Leave a like, really helps with the channel. And let's get started.
Right now, he must be talking with the previous wielders.
What's going on?
We need to have ourselves a talk before we
Mouth's
wake up.
still covered. Whoa! Is that...
My apologies.
Two of them are facing the wall?
These are the people who had One for
What
All
the heck?
before me.
Is that All Might?
They're in my dreams again.
I guess that's All Might. That's a very awesome shot.
At first, we could only talk to you when we found cracks in your consciousness. About 4 months ago, it suddenly began to grow at a rapid pace. The previous wielders were able to take shape and communicate with each other inside of One for All. When my brother forcibly pulled us into the battle earlier, we gained even more freedom. It's now far easier for us to appear before you.
Don't you worry. We'll still give you plenty of privacy if you know what I mean.
I hope so.
Right.
Not that he's doing anything
You don't have a
weird.
mouth in here.
Now it feels like my mouth's starting to take shape.
What do you want to talk about?
Hey, I can almost understand what you're saying.
My name's Hikage Shinomori, and I was One for All's fourth wielder. During
Fourth.
the recent battle, you unintentionally tapped into my quirk and used it on the field.
Danger sense.
It was kind of a shock, to be honest.
I'm sorry.
No
Strange, I
more.
didn't sense you'd be using
It's so
danger
cute.
sense since it is my quirk.
Oh!
Mine was a terrible error. The rest of society was strange, not me. Were you informed
Oh my God.
of how I died and how old I was at the time?
That's hilarious.
All Might didn't mention specifics in his notes. Actually, I'm pretty sure he crossed out the important details.
Wow.
Discovered I died of old age.
But
At
he
40?
was so young.
We only found out because Yagi looked into the matter. What this fact leads us to believe is that One for All can't be wielded safely by an ordinary human being. For 18 years, I spent my days training and building up the power as best I could, avoiding All for One.
So you train for the
The
next
best I could
generation.
do was improve the quirk for its next user.
That's
But as
incredible.
time passed, cracks began appearing on my body. I thought perhaps I wasn't training enough. The natural causes that killed me were due to the multiple quirks inside my body. They drastically shortened my lifespan.
Lifespan? No way.
It's too funny the way Whoa.
Wait a minute. Only had the power longer. And it was even stronger than when you wielded it. Right?
But you didn't have an original quirk. He was
That's
quirkless
correct.
to start with.
We don't have a proper sample size. Most of us didn't have the power long. We died in battle, not of old age. So we asked, what was the intrinsic difference between Yagi and Shinomori? All Might was quirkless.
Like you.
After I heard what my brother had to say, I was certain. A person's consciousness is etched into their quirk factor. So why is Yagi's Vestige here, even though he didn't have an ability of his own?
Huh.
He's the only user who gained a Vestige through One for All itself. Think of one's ability to hold a quirk as a glass. Yagi was able to use One for All over the course of 40 years because his vessel was empty at first. My cultivated
That
power
makes
fit
sense.
perfectly, and it became his true quirk.
That's pretty incredible.
Now
Whoa.
that the predecessor is here, you can't give it to some random person.
You could pass it on to another quirkless person, but they're like an endangered species, few and far between these days.
You could have All for One take their quirk and then give it to them, but that's gonna be hard to do.
If we'd been able to talk with the other users sooner, perhaps fewer people might have suffered over the years.
You might be the last person who wields One for All.
And now the real question. Can you kill Tomura Shigaraki?
Does he have the heart to? Was that already half the episode?
That's not a request. I'm gauging your resolve. We feel your emotions. So we know what was ringing through your head in that moment of desperation.
Even as he suffered in front of us, those terrible eyes held nothing but hatred.
Because that's the person All for One raised him to be.
Me and N, my junior here, we both ended up facing All for One. But we managed to keep him from stealing the power from us. No person could produce such an overwhelming will alone. Our best guess is All for One's trying to use Shigaraki's hatred as a booster.
Jeez.
We believe that One for All is meant to destroy All for One completely.
Tomura Shigaraki is my grandson.
So
I
jacked.
left my family to fight All for One, abandon my child. And this is the result. If that monster manages to fully awaken, no one will be able to stop him. You can't make him see reason.
You can't?
Some people are simply beyond redemption.
Is he still
And I
gonna
believe
try?
Tomura is one of them.
He looked like he was in trouble. No, that's what it felt like.
You can see his mouth.
Yet in the depths of that hatred, I could sense a lost child crying.
Oh.
I've fought a lot of people since I received this power. I never found out why they ended up becoming villains. Maybe things would have been different.
Gentle.
Maybe I still would have had to fight. Maybe not. But still,
Oh.
One for All isn't a power meant to do harm. It's a power meant to save. That's something I learned from All Might. This thing you've cultivated through blood, sweat, and tears has encouraged countless people to become better versions of themselves over the generations. Even if it started as a way to destroy your brother. One for All has taken on another purpose in this world.
Oh.
I don't know
Let's
what
try.
I should do next. And I get that the only way to stop him might be to kill him. But
He's gotta try. Oh my god.
I'm gonna save that little kid!
Lips quivering.
I'm so happy that my power was passed on to you two.
He's naked. Don't let it completely shroud.
This was a test,
Come off.
for which I apologize.
That was a test. Jeez.
Gran Torino is alive. When you wake up, tell him I said hello.
You two better start helping out. You can't just ignore us. We need your cooperation
What's their
to
deal?
unleash One for All's full potential.
They don't want to give the quirk to Deku. They don't think he's worthy.
It's nice to meet you, All Might.
Meet. You've never met before?
Let's skip the intros so I can get straight to the important stuff. This is about Midoriya and One for All.
The truth's
More and more
coming out.
people are asking questions, and Endeavor told us that as the battle progressed, Shigaraki was targeting Midoriya, a mere UA student.
You must keep this secret to ensure your own well-being, true, but also for the safety of the world.
Things have changed so much, so quickly. I'll tell you everything.
Everything.
It's been 3 days since the incident. With every passing hour, there's more panic. I don't think everyone wants to blame the pros. They want to believe heroes have integrity. To feel their protectors did nothing wrong. People want to feel safe.
I can't deny what he spoke is the truth. I stand before you to apologize for my misdeeds.
Endeavor talked to the press at length about his family's ugly past.
What a terrible father.
Dude, he should have denied it. I was rooting for the guy.
This genius was made to look like he was dead, and that's how I infiltrated their ranks. But the rest of the awful things Dabi mentioned are correct for the most part. Regarding Jean Bubai-Gawara, the League member known as Twice, I thought I had no other choice but to keep him out of the fight. I did want to bring him in for his crimes. But in the end, his concern for his fellow League members forced the issue. I had to act. I feel awful for how things went down.
My own mother was seriously injured. Do you really think apologizing and saying you feel bad fixes anything? Do you have any idea?
I mean, it's
how
not their
many people
fault.
lost their... It was the villains who did this, sure, but the only reason they were able to wreak havoc on such a scale is because of your mistakes.
If we stood up here crying and carrying on, would that make your mother better?
Huh? No, of course it wouldn't.
Ooh.
But you could do something besides talk. Take care of the villains on the street. Be a hero.
You make a good point.
There are fewer heroes in the
How is this
field.
such
We are no longer equipped to protect so many citizens. UA High and other schools will be designated as emergency shelters. There should be plenty of space in these facilities for anyone who is scared or seeking protection. Families of enrolled students are already moving.
Aw, are they friends? That'd be really nice.
Direct your blame and anger at me, but let us help you. Plenty of pros are still risking their lives for you. Again, I'll say watch me.
If a hero is someone people know they can call on when they need help, then the heroes disappeared that day.
Oh,
Even so,
Mirko.
There are
He has hair?
still willing to fight.
He has hair? It's leaves.
Asked about One for All, he said he knew nothing about it. That way, no one could be mad at Deku or All Might.
Wow.
Guys, this is super bad! Look!
Us too.
What?
All for One? The villains are after him?
He's
Doesn't make any sense.
He left though?
Uraraka, thank you so much. It's time for you and the rest of our class to know everything. So I'm writing letters to try and explain. They're coming after me. The last thing I want to do is put others in danger. And it's dangerous to be near me.
Jeez.
So I'm leaving UA. Being in the
Deku.
hero course and meeting everyone in Class A
Bakugo's gonna be so mad.
made me happier than I could have ever imagined. Thank you. And goodbye.
Is she mad too?
Idiot. If heroes are those who don't hesitate to take the hardest path, then who will be willing to follow them when they're suffering?
Oh. Jeez. City's destroyed. This is why he's so ragged. Oh. The final act begins. How many... He hasn't put on that hood in such a long time. Since like season 1, episode, I want to say 4? These people have your back. You need to let them have your back. He took a step toward them. Wow. So we have a ton of fascinating revelations this episode about One for All. We see the 2 previous holders who don't want to help Deku. Do they think he's not worthy or something? Well, like, tough shit. He's the guy you got. Like, no being pissy about it right now. Okay, I might be a little harsh here. They could have other reasons that they don't want to help, but I don't know. Just stopping Shigaraki and All for One takes priority right now. Like, if you want someone else, Deku would have to pass it on to another person who would have to start mastering the quirks all over again. And yeah, not a lot of quirkless people out there, so. It's also kind of horrible that One for All kills you from old age if you already have a quirk, if you're not already killed by something beforehand, like almost all of them were. We should count ourselves very lucky that the holders had a chance to give their quirks to someone else before they died, because like, even if All for One wants One for All, if he straight up kills Deku and One for All ceases to exist, he can probably take over the world with just his existing power now anyway. And he can continue stealing quirks too as well. And it's an interesting strategy of the 4th holder to train his body as long as he could and avoid combat. Imagine he didn't do that though, and the quirk was passed down several more times in that time period. There'd be even more quirks in One for All, but then there would be no guarantee that it would make its way to our eventual holders, and Deku might not wind up having it. So in the end, I wouldn't change anything about it, but it's a fun thought process. It was very fun to see the 4th relationship with Banjo, though, which is the guy he passed his quirk down to. Very amusing master-student relationship. Banjo was like trying to hit him, and Shinomori was just danger sensing all around the back, Black Whips. Super fun. But yeah, theoretically, like I was saying before, if Deku wants to find a successor, he could find someone whose quirk was taken by All for One, or in the near future, Shigaraki. It's not impossible. And they said at the beginning of the series that 20% of people still don't have quirks, right? So it'd be harder, but not impossible. But yeah, interesting thought there. Deku was so cute, mumbling in this episode, so funny. I generally don't like being tested in the manner that he was, with Nana telling him to straight up kill Shigaraki, but it was very clear that Deku was going to do the right thing, and he doesn't hold it against them, and he'll try to save Shigaraki, only killing him if he really can't save him. And him turning into a kid again, and the kid being the one to proclaim that he would try to save Shigaraki, that was so beautiful. Even All Might was crying. And I guess that might be the reason the two previous holders were facing the wall. They might disagree with taking the risk of trying to save Shigaraki. They might think Deku is too soft or too idealistic. Like, okay, but still, like, what's your solution? Just not help him and have him die and have One for All be in danger when he's facing Shigaraki and All for One? I do like the fact that All for One is not afforded the same kind of mercy, though. Like, what about the little boy inside All for One who needs to be saved? Like, no thanks, he's caused generations of suffering, it's not even on the table. Then we had a press conference with the top 3 heroes explaining almost everything to the public, but keeping One for All a secret. Guess All Might told them everything off screen. And the hero schools are going to be used as shelters. Interesting way to get a lot of our characters together that otherwise wouldn't interact. Bakugo and Deku's mom, I guess they already knew each other from when their kids were friends when they were younger, but I guess as Bakugo became angrier and more of a shithead to Deku, that might have put some strain on their mother's relationship. But that's changed now. But yeah, Deku also tells his friends about One for All, writes each of them a letter. I thought we'd see Bakugo very, very angry about it, but in retrospect, it wouldn't fit the tone of the scene, which is just somber and sad. Instead, we see some of his friends freaking out a little bit, and Uraraka on her own reading on a bench, calling Deku an idiot, because who's going to take care of Deku? He's going to try to save everybody, but who saves Deku? And yeah, Deku's off on his own, fighting villains on the streets, I'm guessing, and keeping away from Shigaraki. Now I fully understand why he looks so ragged in the intro and the outro. And yeah, we do see him in the intro and outro working with his friends, though, or like leading them. So eventually they'll come back together. But yeah, we want to have to like finish this attack on Shigaraki, this assault on Shigaraki before he's fully awoken. But we also have to rack up the combat experience to fully unleash One for All before we even fully have a chance against him. But yeah, this is the final arc. I don't know how much is left of the series. Will season 7 be the end, or will we get a season 8? Or is the final arc like super, super long and we'll be here like season 9, season 10? I would be okay with that, but I guess since there's 9 holders of One for All, that 9 would be fitting. But I'm guessing that's not a consideration of the people who are making the anime. It'd just be a fun coincidence. But yeah, we're at the point of the story, though, where I have to say that once everything ends, please give us enough time with our beloved characters during times of peace so that we can see them enjoy their lives a little bit. The show was built so much on the relationship between all of our students, all of our characters, so let us bask in that a little bit after the end. Hopefully. Alright, yeah, probably gonna watch the Japanese subs going forward. Should help with getting more visibility on these videos as well. Full reactions on Patreon in the link in the description below. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys soon with more. Bye, friends.